And it is the evening of that fancy evening event for world leaders at the Kelvingrove Museum, just a few hundred metres up the road here. And it promises to be an extraordinary sight, 120 world leaders all in one place. And every few minutes here, another motorcade whizzes past en route to that event under police escort. And they are met by a chorus of boos and chants of shame on you by the protesters who have made their way here some distance away, because this is as near as they can get to those world leaders in Glasgow today. And one person who's not going to be at that event is, of course, the Queen, as we know, due to ill health. She will deliver a message via video message instead. But Boris Johnson has welcomed Prince Charles, the Duchess of Cornwall, and the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge to the Kelvingrove for an evening that's been called a reception for VVIPs by the conference organisers. Not much more detail than that about what they're eating, what they're drinking, the sort of detail that you normally get on these occasions. But there you go, there's the booze again. But it's very much the world leaders' presence that is acting like a magnet for protesters in this city today. And COP26, of course, is two worlds coming together in Glasgow. The world outside and inside the summit, not at all aligned, as we've been finding out today. The world of climate protest descends on this city.
Yeah.
The smallest person in the scrum, but one of the biggest voices for climate action. Greta Thunberg says world leaders didn't want her on the COP26 stage. What's your message for the world leaders, Greta?
I'd like to get through this crowd. Can we get through the crowd first?
So in a park in Govan, among the movement she helped create, here comes the message she says prime ministers and presidents do not want to hear.
Inside COP, they're just politicians and people in power pretending to take our future seriously. No more blah blah blah. No more whatever the fuck they're doing inside there. No more blah blah blah. No more blah blah blah.
Well, these young people from around the world are out here because they say there's no space for them inside the official COP26 summit today. And they have zero faith that the leaders over there will achieve meaningful change.
This is my place.
But they are finding they have their own power, demanding attention for those used to being overlooked. From Uganda, her name is Patience, and it's running out.
We are the ones hit hardest by the climate crisis, yet we do the least. We need climate justice in Africa and all over the global south.
Impatience courses through the streets of Glasgow with the world's most powerful in town. From fury over fossil fuels in Bangladesh
Ever northward to Glasgow, both worn and walked I'll be,
to more homespun climate frustrations.
ask me what is my purpose. Hundreds of people have worn this coat on its journey, and we're bringing it here to the world leaders to invite them to put on the coat and to feel the weight and the warmth of our hopes.
Just down the river from COP26, 10-year-old Zozo and 12-year-old Kiwi were hanging off the Clyde Bridge. The brother and sister from Germany unveiling their message: humanity is failing. Not far away, blacked-out vehicles were idling as the charge of climate hypocrisy followed some VIPs to Glasgow, with side streets choked with chauffeur-driven cars. Then the arrival of one of the summit's VVVIPs.
So there he is, President Biden, and his absolutely enormous motorcade, car after car after car. It's an interesting look coming to a climate conference.
See your pass, please.
But the majority of visitors to Glasgow will get no further than these barriers. And it's not just protests. Fringe events and famous faces are popping up across the city. On a floating venue on the Clyde, the supermodel Lily Cole is joined by climate activists and indigenous leaders.
There's so many voices that are not represented, especially from the Global South, especially indigenous youth. You can count the number of indigenous youth who are here, and that shouldn't be the case.
Do you sense that the big developed countries are ready to meet this challenge?
I'm a bit sceptical about whether that ambition is there. There is, for example, a commitment that was made for developed countries to offer $100 billion in financing every year to developing nations to help with mitigation, adaptation, that still hasn't been met. It was supposed to be met in 2020. There's been some other signals like that are worrying.
What do we want?
It's the 26th COP, but only the third year of this growing youth movement, convinced that change will not come inside the summit, but outside it.